You've probably been told your whole life that all debt is bad, that debt is the enemy, something to fear and avoid at all costs. But here's a secret the wealthy understand that most people never do: some debt can quietly make you richer, while other debt silently keeps you broke for years. They are not the same thing at all, and confusing the two is one of the most expensive mistakes in personal finance. The rich don't fear debt, they've learned to tell the difference between the kind that builds wealth and the kind that destroys it, and they use one while ruthlessly avoiding the other. Meanwhile, most people do the exact opposite: they drown in the destructive kind while being too scared to ever touch the productive kind. In the next few minutes I'm going to show you exactly what separates good debt from bad debt, the myths that keep people trapped, the simple test to tell any debt apart in seconds, the honest fine print, and the moves to fix your debt starting tonight. This one distinction can change your entire financial life, so stick with me. Welcome to Money Decoded. So let's define the difference clearly, because once you see it, you can never unsee it. The simplest way to understand it is this: good debt is money you borrow to buy something that has a strong chance of growing in value or increasing your income over time. Bad debt is money you borrow to buy something that loses value or just funds consumption, while charging you high interest for the privilege. Let's make it concrete. Classic examples of potentially good debt: a reasonable mortgage on a home that builds equity and may rise in value, a student loan for a degree that genuinely boosts your earning power, or a loan to start or grow a business that produces income. In each case, you're borrowing to acquire an asset, something that can pay you back and then some. Now the bad debt: high-interest credit card balances on clothes, gadgets, and dinners, a giant loan on a brand new car that loses value the moment you drive it off the lot, payday loans, financing depreciating toys. Here, you're borrowing to buy things that shrink in value or vanish entirely, while the interest quietly bleeds you. Good debt is a tool that works for you. Bad debt is a trap that works against you. But there are dangerous myths on both sides. Let's tear down the myths that trap people on both extremes. Myth 1: all debt is evil and you should never borrow for anything. This fear can actually hold you back. Used wisely, good debt lets people buy homes, get educations, and build businesses they could never afford in cash. Refusing all leverage can mean missing real opportunities. Myth 2: the opposite extreme: debt is just a normal part of life, everyone has it, so don't worry about it. This mindset is how people end up with thousands in high-interest credit card debt that quietly steals their future. Normal is not the same as harmless. Myth 3: as long as I can make the minimum payment, my debt is fine. This is the trap that keeps people broke for years. Minimum payments on high-interest debt are designed to keep you paying interest almost forever, barely touching what you actually owe. Myth 4: good debt means I can borrow as much as I want for a house or school. No. Even good debt becomes bad debt if it's too much, too expensive, or for something that doesn't actually pay off. A massive mortgage that strangles your budget, or a huge loan for a degree with no job prospects, is not good debt. The amount and the terms matter enormously. And that leads to the simple test that cuts through all the confusion. Here's the reveal, the simple test that lets you judge almost any debt in seconds. Ask yourself one honest question: is this debt helping me buy something that will put money into my pocket or grow in value, or is it funding something that takes money out of my pocket and loses value? That's the whole test. If the borrowed money buys an asset, something that earns income, builds equity, or increases your future earnings, it leans toward good debt. If it buys a liability, something that depreciates, gets consumed, or just funds a lifestyle, it's bad debt. Then add a second layer: the interest rate. The higher the interest, the worse any debt becomes, because that's the price you pay to borrow. Credit cards often charge 20% or more, that is brutal, wealth-destroying interest. A reasonable mortgage might charge a small fraction of that. So the framework is simple: good debt buys appreciating or income-producing assets at low interest, bad debt buys depreciating junk at high interest. Here's the powerful part: when you run your own debts through this test, the picture becomes crystal clear. That credit card balance from last year's impulse buys? Bad debt, attack it. That mortgage on a home you can comfortably afford? Reasonable good debt. The test removes all the emotion and shows you exactly where to focus. But I have to give you the honest fine print. Here's the honest fine print, because this topic gets oversimplified in dangerous ways. First, good debt is not automatically safe debt. Even borrowing for an asset carries real risk. Home values can fall, a degree might not pay off, a business can fail. Good debt improves your odds, it does not guarantee a win, so never borrow assuming everything will go perfectly. Second, any debt becomes bad debt if it's too large for you to comfortably handle. Overborrowing, even for good reasons, can wreck you if your income drops or life throws a curveball. The size relative to your budget matters as much as the purpose. Third, there is enormous psychological value in simply being debt-free, even from so-called good debt. Some people sleep far better and take bigger life risks with zero payments hanging over them, and that peace of mind is genuinely valuable and completely valid. Fourth, and to be crystal clear, high-interest bad debt is almost always an emergency. When it comes to double-digit interest credit cards, there's no nuance, it's actively harmful and should be attacked aggressively. This whole framework is about being thoughtful, not reckless. With all that in mind, let's fix your debt. So here's the first and most urgent move: identify and destroy your bad debt, starting with the highest interest first. Make a quick list of everything you owe and the interest rate on each. Anything with a high, double-digit rate, credit cards, payday loans, expensive financing, that's your bad debt, and it's an emergency, because that interest is quietly stealing from your future every single month. Here's a mindset that will motivate you: paying off a credit card charging 20% interest is like earning a guaranteed 20% return on your money, and that's a return almost no investment can safely match. So attack the highest interest debt with everything you can spare, throw every extra dollar at it while paying minimums on the rest, and once it's gone, roll that payment into the next highest. This is the fastest way to stop the bleeding and free up your income. Killing bad debt isn't just about getting out of a hole, it's one of the highest guaranteed returns available to you anywhere. Clear the destructive, high-interest debt first, and you instantly become financially stronger. Then you can think clearly about the productive kind, which is the second move. The second move is to use good debt wisely, and only when it truly makes sense. Once your high-interest bad debt is gone, you can think about leverage the way the wealthy do, as a careful tool, not a crutch. If you're considering good debt, like a mortgage or a loan for education or a business, run it through a few honest filters. Is it buying a genuine asset that should grow in value or income? Is the interest rate low? And most importantly, can you comfortably afford the payment even if things get tight, without stretching your budget to the breaking point? A good rule of thumb: keep your housing costs to a reasonable share of your income so the debt empowers you instead of trapping you. Borrow for the appreciating asset, not for the lifestyle. And here's a key point: you are never required to use debt at all. Plenty of people build enormous wealth while avoiding almost all of it. Good debt is a tool you may choose to use, carefully, not something you must chase. The goal isn't to be clever with borrowing, it's to make sure any debt you carry is genuinely working for you, not against you. So let's turn all of this into action tonight. Let's make this real with 3 concrete moves tonight. First, list every debt you have with its interest rate, right next to it. Credit cards, loans, financing, everything. Seeing them all in one place, sorted by interest rate, instantly shows you your battlefield. Second, run each one through the test: is it good debt buying an appreciating asset at low interest, or bad debt funding depreciating consumption at high interest? Circle the bad ones, especially anything with a double-digit rate. Those are your targets. Third, pick your highest interest debt and commit to attacking it. Decide on one specific extra amount, even a small one, you'll throw at it this month beyond the minimum. That single decision starts the momentum. List it, test it, attack the worst one. If you do only one thing tonight, just identify your single highest interest debt, because that one is costing you the most, and knowing your enemy is the first step to defeating it. Clarity about your debt is the beginning of freedom from it. Let me leave you with the mindset shift, because it's what truly separates the wealthy from everyone else when it comes to debt. Most people have a purely emotional relationship with debt. They either fear all of it blindly, or they ignore how much it's hurting them. The wealthy do neither. They see debt as a tool, a neutral thing that becomes good or bad entirely based on how it's used. They ruthlessly avoid and eliminate the destructive, high-interest debt that funds consumption, and they carefully, occasionally use productive debt to acquire assets that build their wealth. That single shift, from fearing debt or drowning in it, to thoughtfully commanding it, changes everything. You stop being a victim of your debt and start being the one in control. You attack the debt that's stealing from you, and you make sure any debt you keep is genuinely working in your favor. This is how you flip the entire game. Instead of debt quietly making you poorer year after year, you make it serve you, or you get rid of it entirely. You now understand a distinction most people never grasp, and it can save and earn you a fortune over your lifetime. Make debt work for you, or make it disappear. Now, once you've cleared your high-interest debt, the very best place to put that freed-up money is into assets that grow, and I've got the perfect video for you next. So let's bring it home. Not all debt is the same. Good debt is borrowing to buy something that grows in value or income, at a low interest rate, a reasonable mortgage, an education that pays off, a business. Bad debt is borrowing to fund consumption or depreciating stuff at high interest, credit cards, payday loans, an overpriced car. The simple test: does it put money in your pocket or take money out? Attack your high-interest bad debt first. It's an emergency, and paying it off is like a guaranteed high return. Then, if you ever use good debt, use it carefully, for real assets, at payments you can comfortably afford. Pick one move tonight, just one: list your debts by interest rate, or commit an extra payment to your worst one. Now, here's the exciting part: once you've killed that high-interest debt, you'll have freed up money every month, and the smartest place to send it is into assets that quietly grow your wealth, the simplest being a low-cost index fund. I broke down exactly how that works in another video, and it's the perfect next watch. Go see it right now. Subscribe to Money Decoded USA. Real money help for everyday Americans, no hype. I'll see you in the next one.